All right, continuing here with a segment with New Light, and here is Barry Zito, made to the A's. We see what he can rediscover with velocity and all those things. He says hello. Barry, Christopher Russo, High Heat. How are you today, okay?
Well, I'm great, Christopher. Good to talk to you, buddy.
Good to have you with us. You know, it's funny. In 2010, not on the Giant postseason roster. You know, you're a prideful athlete. You know that probably drove you crazy. Yet you had the guts to come back in 2012 and win the most important game in that postseason against the Cardinals, and then in Game 5 in St. Louis, and then come back in Game 1 against Verlander and set the tone with Sandoval to get the Giants off to a great start. So I know that San Francisco experience wasn't as great as you'd like, but you do have those two unbelievable performances in the 2012 playoffs. Let's talk about that for a sec. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, that was, I got, I've really embraced my path, I guess you could say. It's been a difficult one at times, but to be able to have the opportunity to throw those games and have everything, go our way was just the biggest blessing I could ever imagine. And, taken away from that, I guess, people can say whatever they say, and they do, but, for me personally to have those couple games and that experience in 2012, it kind of washed everything clean from everything, before that.
Oh, I think you're right. How about the Cardinal game? That's Game 5. The Game 1 against the Tigers, if you didn't pitch great, Giants have plenty of time to recover. You're pitching an elimination game in St. Louis on the road against a hot team. What was your thought process in that ball game? What can you tell me about that?
Well, I knew it was going to be a long 4 months if I went out there and didn't give my all, on every pitch. And, I mean, I could certainly live with losing the game or getting eliminated, but if I went out there and was anything less than my best, that's what I couldn't live with. So I just worked so hard to do that and stay in the moment as much as possible and, kind of look up at the scoreboard after, and things worked out. But my focus wasn't really on bringing it home as much as it was just trying to do my absolute best.
And you did, and the Giants, I think, won a game 7-1 or 7-2 and moved on and beat the Cardinals those next two games. All right, how about 2013, Barry? How much did you miss baseball not getting a chance to play last year?
Yeah, I mean, 2014 was it was an interesting year. I just took some time off. I wanted to remember, why I started playing this game and, the things I love about pitching. And, as you have some success, and if you're in a profession long enough, things can kind of become disenchanting. And so for me, it was nice to take a little time away and just work out on, at a local park or, do whatever I was doing to just rediscover that passion. And, I just feel so grateful to have an opportunity to get on a mound again and put on a major league uniform in spring training.
When did you begin to think about comeback? I mean, it probably dawned on you after some workouts that maybe you could still do this. When did Barry Zito start to think there's a chance that your career wasn't exactly over in this offseason? When did it hit you?
Well, I kind of, in August of 2013, I had a plan, and it was probably a crazy one, but I made the decision at that point during the season to take off 2014 and really just work on, physical things, delivery things, just whatever I could do to get better for a year. And, so it was kind of a long-term plan, actually. But, of course, I had no guarantees. I didn't know if anything was going to pan out. And just feel so grateful that it has panned out a little bit and that I have a chance.
Well, listen, you found your velocity, according to your trainer here, the one in New Orleans who, I think it's you, maybe it's Houston, who worked with Kazmir and got his velocity back. When you were really at your tip-top shape, you threw the ball 90-91, great disparity with changeup and curveball. That velocity has returned to a certain degree, Barry. Let's talk about that for a sec.
I threw for teams. I auditioned, for teams, and it was back a little, in a bullpen atmosphere. It was, it was kind of towards the upper 80s, which obviously is exciting, but I think the most exciting thing is that I'm really enjoying throwing that baseball again and snapping the curveball and throwing the changeup down in the zone. And, those are things that, it's the rudimentary parts of pitching that I've really rediscovered.
Wow. And you're going to go to Oakland now, and now you go to Oakland with something to prove. You got to try to make a team. You've never been in that situation before. You've always been a mainstay of a rotation. What's the mindset now as you head to spring training and how to try to make this ball club in 2015? What's going to be the idea here for Barry Zito?
You know, ironically, I don't feel like I have to prove anything. You know, I just feel like all I have to prove is that I can go out there and enjoy what I do, and I think that's what my whole quest has been about. So, you know, wherever the chips fall, however things end up, you know, I don't have ultimate control over that, but what I can do is really embrace every day and just love, you know, getting on a freshly cut grass field and, you know, not some crappy park that I've been throwing out with my net that I was setting up, you know, all year. So I'm really just having fun. I feel like a kid again.
So your passion has returned is what it comes down to. You feel like you're really like a little kid in a ball yard again, and that's what this spring training is going to be about.
Yeah, I mean, I'm doing everything I can to keep it about that because, you know, my old pitching coach, Rick Peterson, said when I first came up to the big leagues in 2000, he says, you know, there's going to be a lot of icing on this cake. He said, so you got to focus on the cake and not on the icing. And it was, you know, great advice at the time. And, you know, as you know, there's a lot of icing in these types of lifestyles here. So I just want to focus on the cake and not taste the icing anymore.
Well, good luck to you, Barry. You deserve it. Thanks very much. We'll see you in spring training. I appreciate you coming on today.
All right. Thank you, Christopher.